Welcome back to the Cinema Rules Podcast, episode 8.
How's your week been, Tom?
It's been good, man, but it's all been leading up to tonight because I feel bad. I feel bad because we're doing a podcast now, but straight after this podcast, we're going to go and see Aline Romulus. Such a cool title as well.
You know, this is probably one of my most anticipated movies of the year.
It's actually not for me because my fear is, I think I've said this before, that it's going to be just the exact same film as Alien.
I'm not expecting.
And I love that film.
I'm not expecting a masterpiece. All I want is a badass horror.
Like in space, pitch black corridors,
gore,
like just terrifying,
tension,
chest bursts.
You know, I just want something that I can be like, okay, that was a cool horror movie. I like that. I'm not expecting Alien. I'm not expecting Aliens.
Yeah, because I feel like we've seen the past few horrors we've seen in the cinema. They've been all right, but they haven't been like...
They haven't been scary.
They haven't been...
Gory.
They haven't been like the suspense. I tell you what, actually, when we saw Long Legs, I did feel it occasionally. I did feel an occasional bit at the beginning of Long Legs, but... Yeah. We saw a horror film this week. I think if you were listening to our last podcast, we told you we were going to a secret screening or screaming, secret screaming. And the film
was what we expected.
I was annoyed you got it right.
Cuckoo.
We watched Cuckoo.
Now, I only had seen one trailer one time at the cinema of this film, so I was kind of going into it blind.
But we really wanted to see it based on that one trailer as well.
Yeah, that trailer was very effective.
It looked really weird. I'm just going to get up the details for Cuckoo for those of you that don't know. This is a new kind of horror thriller.
Psychological.
They're calling it a body horror, but in the trailer, but I wouldn't consider it a body horror.
I would call it psychological. But the synopsis of the movie is: a 17-year-old girl is forced to move with her family to a resort where things are not what they seem.
Sounds very similar to any horror film.
It just sounds very vague, doesn't it?
Yeah, anything with a final girl in and they go somewhere weird.
Yeah. I mean, the main actress, Hunter Schafer.
She's pretty big at the moment. I think she's out of Euphoria, and
I haven't seen that show.
I have watched a little bit of it, but almost the entirety of that cast have become quite big, massive superstars, haven't they? Yeah. Zendaya, Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. Arguably, Zendaya was big before that show. But
Sydney Sweeney as well. Yeah. So they're all kind of getting big off of that.
Yeah.
But
what did you think of Cuckoo then? Give me, because I've posted a letterbox review and I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5.
I saw that you posted that, and when you did that I was like, whoa, that's lower than I thought you were gonna. I thought you'd give it like 3.5.
I thought giving it 3 was a bit too much. I think dead in the middle, bang average. Look, 2.5 stars.
I came out of the film, when we both came out of the film, we were like, we didn't know what to say about it, did we? Because it's so...
Now, do we want to give spoilers? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll say...
We'll try and be vague.
We'll try and be vague.
But we'll announce
if we do spoilers, we'll say. But I thought she was good and interesting as the protagonist.
Yeah, I thought she was really good at it.
Yeah, she was playing like a 17-year-old, obviously. I think she's only about 3 years younger than us, but she played that role quite well as this torn kind of daughter between her father and her mother previously,
and her father's new partner and her stepsister,
kind of stepsister or half sister, whatever. But the concept of the film is really weird. So the name Cuckoo stems from the animal cuckoo, the cuckoo, the bird, where it enters a nest, lays its eggs, and I think the other bird kind of raises the eggs or looks after the eggs until they hatch, and then I think
it's basically an infestation, isn't it?
Kicked out of the nest, or maybe the cuckoo comes back and kicks the other birds out.
It's like a parasite.
But this is the same thing as Long Legs, and I don't think this is probably not a spoiler, semi spoiler, but it is. No, it's not supernatural, is it? I was going to say it's
not supernatural. No,
it's kind of natural.
Yeah. If anything, it's like it's the complete opposite.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
It's about creatures that exist, but we don't necessarily know. They're like endangered creatures that look like people, but they're uncanny in that they
can't talk.
Can't talk.
They screech.
They scream.
And they also
absolutely scream.
And they also
all
have
the
this
time.
power, and this is probably where the paranormal element probably creeps into your mind.
Yeah.
That they have this almost ability to paralyze people, but in a deja vu.
It's like you're
way.
reliving the moment, but you're actually paralyzed, and that's when they come up and kind of kill you. And they kill. Is there any mothers? They're only female, I think.
Yeah.
They kill like the family, so they can supplant they kill and breed basically with the family, so they can supplant their child there.
It's so weird. I mean,
it is really weird, but actually, I felt like it was good. The first part of the film, I feel like I say this all the time about horror films.
Yeah.
The first part of the film, I really liked. I thought it was atmospheric. I thought it was uncanny and strange and weird. But then, by the way, Dan Stevens is in this, who's like a pretty good character.
I really liked him.
He's a pretty good character actor, and he has a insanely nuts kind of Austrian German accent.
Yeah.
And he plays a really, really weird, uncanny, unsettling character, and I thought it was really good. But the second part of this film, it just goes off the rails, man. Off the rails as in mad. It's nuts. It
goes
weird.
cuckoo.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I have, after having pondered on the film a little bit, if I'm honest, when I think about this movie, I actually think about the ending more so than the beginning. The beginning actually fades into being generic. So I actually, on reflection, I actually prefer the latter half of this film.
But it's not the
first half.
It's not the very beginning I'm on about. It's the bit where they're at the hotel and she doesn't know what's happening. She doesn't know. It's just strange and unsettling. She gets attacked, and then it's again strange and unsettling when she's in the hospital. When they're there's another character that she works with at the hotel. Yeah. And when they're in the kind of bungalow, and it's very unsettling there. I won't say exactly what happens for everyone.
Yeah.
I know I've spoiled a bit already, but it is unsettling. It is strange. It is weird, and I quite liked that. But then it becomes kind of style over substance. I think style with like music choice, with the woman that comes in that's like French and tries to take her to France, and they're listening to music in the car, and then with like the shootout at the end with this other kind of Austrian policeman that comes into it as a character who's trying to get revenge basically and kill these creatures. And it also becomes like a bit of a conspiracy as well, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's I said in my review that I really liked its ambition and how different it tried to be in its ending. I think the film would have worked better if it lent into that more during the first half as well.
But how would you get that? How would you get that quirky kind of energy and atmosphere that comes into it at the end?
Yeah, that's the question. I think, it's just a very peculiar concept.
It just comes out of nowhere, isn't it?
The monsters aren't that scary either.
No, not at all.
So I just think it's not an effective horror movie.
It's the same old trope. It's like Barbarian, isn't it?
As
soon as you see them. And actually, there's a really weird character design, isn't there?
Yeah,
that doesn't fit or go.
It's just different. It's just different. Yeah. We haven't seen it before, and I applaud the film for doing that, because I do like seeing stuff, things that are different. But as a horror movie, I just don't think it's as good of an impact. It's just not. I don't know. It's so uncanny that it's just doesn't work.
It does have character to it though, and I can see it getting quite a big following, like Longlegs. Actually, I can see it becoming bigger,
a cult classic almost in a way.
Yeah. I just love horror fans are just eating good all the time at the moment.
They are. We've got too much choice, and I think we are ungrateful in a way, because we always complain about getting sequels, and we want original stuff, and we're getting original stuff at the moment with Longlegs, with Cuckoo, and we're not satisfied for some reason.
No, there's a lot of films coming out as well at the moment that seem to be people going to places and weird things, uncanny vibes, or weird things are happening. There's one coming out with Channing Tatum, isn't there, where he's on the island?
What's it called? Let me Let Me Talk or something like that.
No. You're thinking of this one with James McAvoy coming out called Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
And then Channing Tatum's also got one out. And it reminded me, Blink Twice.
Blink Twice,
but this film reminded me of The Shining a little bit because of, not in terms of caliber or plot necessarily, but like the isolated hotel setting.
Yeah,
and the weird
in the
things,
mountains.
and the weird things that are happening.
I thought the best thing about the movie is Hunter Schafer. I thought her character, she was a very reserved person. She likes to keep a distance away from her father and her father's second family and her stepsister. However, she goes through an arc in this story which I really appreciate, and you know the amount of emotional depth that you get with this character at the very end as well, and her relationship with a certain specific someone is very satisfying, and I appreciated that. That was the heart and soul of the movie. Everything else around it is kind of like wacky, and it's just a bit it's just weird.
It is. We came out of it saying that a Karen was the antagonist of the film.
That would be funny though. To actually create a horror movie where the cat Karen
and it's like people that work in a shop. You can actually see it. You can make it.
You could create an isolated story set in the grocery store with a Karen's trying to kill everyone.
Don't steal our idea, Hollywood.
Yeah, if you
heard it on the Cinema Wars podcast,
fund our project.
I could come up with a good kind of pun name as well. I'll come up with a name for it. There was a good trailer during this film. I've seen it twice now. That trailer for a film called The Substance. And it's like Demi Moore, and she takes something and it makes her look younger. That does look like a body horror.
Yeah, and it says in the trailer, new body horror, but it does look quirky, and I really like that trailer as well because it does not show you anything about the plot.
Yeah, but it's kind of similar.
But it makes you interested in watching it.
Kind of similar to Cuckoo trailer. The Cuckoo trailer was.
But with Cuckoo trailer, there's still a. Do you
know what I was really annoyed about?
What?
The best kind of scare from this film
was in the trailer.
Was in the trailer.
Yeah,
and it was a great one. Like, why put
in the hallway?
Best shot
In the hallway?
No, not in the hallway.
In the on the bike. Yeah. No, I agree.
But also in the hallway, like all the big scares were in the trailer, weren't they?
Yeah, but even this trailer had like a plot thread. You could kind of follow like what the style of movie it's going for. But the substance, it's just, you know, flashes and highlights of something in completely obscure order, but it's effective enough for me to be like, I'm interested in seeing that.
It's got Dennis Quaid in it as well, and it's also an 18. This one was only Cuckoo was only a 15, but I'm really interested in seeing that. Once again, though, the secret screeners are great, aren't they?
I love them. I'll probably try and go to every single one.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any secret screenings or screenings at your local cinema, we highly recommend going and just sticking through it, because you'll watch films that you never would have really gone to see. Like the last one we went to see was Kneecap, which we spoke about in our last podcast episode, and it was an Irish hip hop film,
but it was really good.
By the way, so someone I know is going to the Leeds Festival over the bank holiday weekend, and Kneecap are playing.
Yeah, it's there. That's your idea. You decided to go and see them.
Yeah. But they came to see the movie with us, didn't?
Oh yeah.
So I was going to see that.
That's really cool. I'm just looking at the guy who wrote and directed Cuckoo, because it was written and directed by the same guy.
He hasn't really done much else.
One other film, which was an hour and 10 minutes, called Luz.
Yeah, that's classed as a short film, then, isn't it?
Kind of.
Yeah.
P-movie. So it's for a first.
But
first film.
But despite my heavy criticism on the film, I did like lots of aspects, and I did like the originality of it, or what it tried to do, because we're obviously living in a world now of heavy sequels. I mean, Pixar are coming out with more sequels now than they are original content, which is sad to see.
This is because of Bob Iger becoming back in the saddle, basically, because he wasn't, was he? He let go of he basically retired and came back out of retirement because they were doing quite kind of poorly, I think, shareholder wise. And actually, they had a regression in terms of they're not making as much content, but they're now like worshipping the cinema more than streaming, which is what they were doing when Bob Chapek was in charge.
Yeah, I think the downfall of Disney was as soon as Disney Plus came into the field of view.
Disney Plus was not just a reaction to streaming; it was a reaction to COVID as well, in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because
it made sense for them to do it, but I think they focused too much on it over, like you said, the cinema experience.
Oversaturation has led to their kind of downfall a bit.
Yeah.
But like you say, they've gone hard. D23, I think it was, wasn't it? Or
yeah,
23. D23.
I think it's just not. It's always called D23, isn't it?
No, it's the year, isn't it?
I don't think it is. Is it?
I think it's based on the year.
Oh,
D23. 2024 announcement. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the 23rd. It might be the 23rd one. I don't know. Anyway.
Comment down below.
God damn it, you film pundits, guys. What are you doing? Yeah. They've announced a lot of sequels.
Yeah. I've got a list here.
Go on,
and
go through it.
These aren't all of them either. So you got Moana 2.
Moana 2, I can 100% see why they're doing that.
It makes sense. And I'm not attached to that project.
They're also doing a live action with Dwayne Johnson.
Which I find a bit odd that they're doing both those at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, you're almost in 1 year going to be sick of Moana.
I'm not really a fan of the live action remakes of the Disney cartoons. I mean, I saw Beauty and the Beast. I saw Jungle Book. I saw Cinderella, Lion King.
Yeah.
Some of them are okay.
I don't think I've seen many, if any at all. I saw The Lion King, I think, and obviously that was devoid of any facial expression or emotion.
It reminds me of that remake of Psycho that was made, and it was just shot for shot. Like, if you're going to do that, what's the point?
Yeah. And while talking about Lion King, Mufasa, a prequel. I saw that trailer come out, and it's interesting.
I haven't seen the trailer, but I can get behind that because it's a different story.
It's a different story that no one has really seen before, or at least I haven't. Avatar 3, Fire and Ash.
Oh God!
Do you like Avatar?
I love it, mate.
Yeah.
Nobody. You know what? People rewrite history and they say, "Yeah, I wasn't that fan of Avatar when it came out or whatever." Avatar was the biggest film of all time.
It like figures wise, yes.
Yeah.
You know, popularity,
reception,
yes.
And I was worried when Avatar 2 came out that it had been too long, that people wouldn't care. It still did insanely well. It still did over 2 billion.
I think it's because people were like, despite it being so long, because the first one was so big in its technological advancements. Everyone also felt obliged to go to Avatar 2. So I'm very interested to see how Avatar 3 does.
Did you like Avatar 2?
I thought it was all right.
I just still loved it. I still loved it.
I thought it was insane to look at.
Way of Water,
and the story was, they returned, I guess. But
okay. Admittedly, the story wasn't the best, but it was kind of centered around like the water tribe, wasn't it? And
it looked amazing,
life, and it just transports you to another world. So
I love
much thought and detail goes into that creation of that world.
I love like the creativity behind that world. Like that is, you cannot fault it on that. It's just, and I think it was a problem with many people with the problem of the first film as well. It was just the story. I think you look at the epicness of and the world building, and it's 10 out of 10 on that front, but then the story is kind of generic in both.
It's like a lot of it's a common trope, that story. Not trope. It's a common narrative archetype, isn't it? It's like Last of the Mohicans. It's like somebody goes into a tribe, kind of becomes part of that family and culture, and then tries to help them. But the part I didn't like about the second one was the antagonist. They just brought him back to life. Yeah, as a Na'vi
clone.
Yeah,
he was basically a clone, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But Avatar: Fire and Ash.
That's what it's called, by the way. Yeah, it was called The Seed Bearer.
Yeah, it was. I remember.
But I remember when I heard that title, I was like, that's not going to play well with people, I don't think.
Yeah.
But Fire and Ash.
The title alone makes me interested in the story more so than the first two.
And the little mini kind of title art as well with the red A in the background.
Yeah.
Allegedly, rumor says that there's a new tribe of antagonistic kind of Na'vi that are like the fire people, and they're red.
Hopefully, they're red, and I hopefully they fly dragons, mate. Because there are no dragons in them.
Volcanic kind of setting. Because we had the water tribe, we had the original people in the floating mountains and the jungle, and now volcanic people.
It's just I'm excited about it because it's going to be a new antagonist, and we need it in the Avatar world. We've already had the same antagonist. So it's a little bit lackluster.
But something needs to happen in this film, narrative wise, with the daughter, because she's got a weird connection to the planet, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Or Pandora, and also
Sigourney Weaver.
She's played by Sigourney Weaver, isn't it? Which I was mind blown at. Yeah. But also Channing Tatum's character, I feel like he needs to die in this film.
Channing Tatum?
Not Channing Tatum. Talking about Channing Tatum. Sam Worthington, in other words, a Channing Tatum clone. He is a clone. I
was like, hang on a minute.
He's a clone of Channing Tatum, Sam Worthington.
Channing Tatum could have been in this movie. You never know.
Did you know that actually it was meant to be... what's his name? God. Why is his name going back? Jason Bourne.
Matt Damon.
It was meant to be Matt Damon. Yeah, he turned down a percentage of the film's gross as the paycheck, and apparently he turned down the most money ever for a role. Little did he know. Well, he was like blue people flying around.
It's not like he didn't turn it down because he turned it down because it would clash him with another project of his that he was contractually bound to.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I saw an interview with him, and he said I just couldn't do it, but. He said that his earnings from Avatar would have paid off that contract tenfold. Yeah,
the pain.
But yeah, moving on to a topic that I really want to talk about is Toy Story 5.
It doesn't sound right, man. Toy Story 5.
Right, listen. Like, everyone's going to go and watch it. I'm going to go watch it. You're going to go watch it.
Did you see 4 at the cinema?
I saw 4 at the cinema.
I saw 4 on streaming. I didn't see it at the cinema.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I went to see it at the cinema. Toy Story is a part of our childhood.
Yeah, it is. And number 1 is a masterpiece. Number 2 is a masterpiece.
Number 3 is actually really good.
Really good. Number 4, I can't really remember it, but what I do remember is the end, because I found the ending heartbreaking.
Is that when Woody leaves?
They split up and they go their separate ways. And I thought, do you know what? I thought the ending to number 3 was pure poetry, and I thought it was great. Yeah. But I thought if you are going to have an end to a franchise, number 4 is a pretty good one, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought that at the time as well. I haven't seen 4 in so long, since it came out in the cinema, that I can't really remember it and whether it's worth it or not, because I remember
Keanu Reeves played a random stunt bike driver, didn't he?
And there was Forky as well, who was funny. But Toy Story 5, the synopsis is Woody, Buzz, Jesse and the rest of the gang's job get exponentially harder when they go head to head with an all new threat to playtime technology. And there's a concept art. There's a concept art of them all at the foot of the bed looking at this child underneath the sheets staring at an iPad.
Well, I tell you what, that is a great. I already think that they're going to do fantastic things.
It's a great concept, and I actually thought Toy Story 4 was going to be that.
Yeah,
I heard rumblings when Toy Story 4 was in the works that it was going to be that.
Well, I heard rumblings for this that it was going to be like Andy as an older guy trying to nostalgically collect his old toys and with his own kid or something like that.
That's interesting.
But this is way better because I think everyone knows what Pixar are like with their emotionally pulling at the heartstrings. You can do so much with this kind of concept of just kids vacantly staring at the things, a piece of technology that just ruins their attention span, ruins their kind of imagination.
It's social commentary, isn't it?
And with kind of the adult perspective that came in Inside Out 2 when you gave your little review, and how as an adult you can take so much from it. They can do so much here.
And I think so obviously
you brought me round, Sean.
Pixar as well. They've got a lot of there's lessons learnt in their things, and they teach kids a lot. So I'm hoping that they find a way to teach kids who watch Toy Story 5 to step away from the screen and to focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Rather than what's on the screen.
Kind of like fun, family, imagination, freedom, and exploration.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people online actually are a bit annoyed because they're like, well, Woody, Buzz, and Jessie. Woody left at the end of the last one.
Yeah, because he's in the art there, but you don't know how they get back together.
But that just ruins the ending of 4. What was the point in 4?
Do you think that as well?
Well, I'll see what they come up with, because it's Pixar. Pixar are geniuses.
We don't know. As long as they don't start the story.
What's the point of 4?
As long as they don't start the story and they're all together with no explanation. They will have to explain it.
Yeah. But
they come to. It says they come together, I think, doesn't it?
And the rest of the gang's jobs get exponentially harder when they get. They'll seek each other out for something. Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with. I know I said at the start I did, but actually you've won me over, and I don't have a problem with Pixar making sequels, because actually, if you look at their track record,
they've got good
they're
sequels.
insane, and they don't do it that often. Only for Toy Story. The only other one that they'd done poorly is obviously Cars, but I didn't never watch Cars 3, but I heard it pulled it back and was quite good, or okay. But
now,
have they done any other sequels?
Well, Incredibles 2, which leads us to
the next topic.
Incredibles 3 has been
so
announced.
Excited, man.
Are you excited?
I am, and actually, I think I said it in a previous podcast. I was a bit disappointed with Incredibles 2.
Yeah,
because obviously you're never in the same place as when you were a kid and you watch it, and there's all that nostalgia. But I think there was so much more. There was a lot more. There were more clever directions that they could have taken that film in. And it's still Brad Bird that's come out and said this and directing it. I'll tell you what I was hoping for Incredibles 2, and then you can tell me what you think about this. So I really wanted them to do a big time jump, because the best thing about The Incredibles wasn't the fact that they're superheroes.
It's the family dynamic.
It's the family dynamic, and they work so well together, and they're trying to save each other, but they also fall out and fight and all this sort of stuff. And so I wanted them to go forward maybe like 10 years, maybe even more than that.
See how they were,
maybe
like,
even 20 years.
As like granddads
and have the main two as grandparents, the two kids as superheroes, and then like Jack is like the best, like Superman basically.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anybody else. Everyone else is redundant because he's so good. But they have to come back together as a family.
Or maybe Jack turns evil.
Maybe, But I wanted that time jump because it's about family dynamics and how you cope and deal with growth and change and things as a family.
Yeah.
I know it sounds deep for a cartoon, but it is.
No,
it is about.
Pixar is deep, and I get what you mean. I remember liking Incredibles 2. I can't really remember it, which is probably a bad thing.
There was like some kind of. There were heroes that were kind of. Were they different, or they were? There was
just a lot more heroes.
I
found it similar to like Kick-Ass 2, where they just got everyone had loads of heroes came into the picture, but with Incredibles 3, I think Jack becoming the villain would actually tug on your heartstrings even more, because it's about the family trying to make Jack see them again and pull back to the light, almost like a Star Wars themed dark side, light side type of deal.
That, but I don't see them going for the time jump. I don't see them. And I think part of that is brand characters, and you got them in the
establishment,
parks, you've got them in the games, all sorts of different things.
Yeah, no, I agree. But Incredibles 3, I'm not that excited for it.
I am. I still am.
I think, and the reason why I'm so not that excited about it is, where else could they take it when in a world that is just, I'm just so tired of superhero movies. Do you know what I mean? What new ideas? But animation can go.
It's what people have said though. People aren't tired of superhero films. They're just tired of bad stories. Yeah. And if you have a great family drama where they just so happen to be superheroes, you can make it really good. and that's what the first one was. It was that family drama, but it was also that cool kind of little spy espionage thing, thriller at the start as well, wasn't it?
It was but I'll just list all of these. We won't go through all of them, but you've got Zootopia 2, you've got Frozen 3, you've got Mandalorian and Grogu announced, Captain America, obviously, Fantastic Four, obviously,
which they did show. They were sitting around the table and they showed a little clip which looked quite good.
Freaky Friday 2, Lilo and Stitch. live action, man.
Now
I'm actually excited about that.
In terms of live action, that one doesn't look too bad.
And yeah, I saw the animation of obviously Stitch, and I used to watch that all the time as a kid. So I think I might watch that.
When are they gonna do the live action Emperor's New Groove, man? Or Treasure Planet, or Atlantis?
Treasure Planet. I think they definitely will be doing that in the next like 5 to 10 years.
You think so?
100%. Snow
White.
White.
Go through all the big ones first. They? Snow White is already going to be one of these films that is getting deliberately kind of bombed when it's not even out, when nobody's hardly even seen it.
Because of the actress.
They've seen the design. They've seen the design, but it's because of Rachel Zegler, I think, and she made some comments. I think.
She made some comments.
I think it's because she's Hispanic, or
really?
Yeah, when they're saying she's not kind of white.
Oh.
But she might have made some comments, but I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
But
and then you've got the Tron sequel.
Yeah, which
I never saw the
Tron Legacy, man. Is such an underrated film. I think.
You like it, did you?
Yeah, I never saw the original Tron. In fact, we were gonna react to that I was gonna choose it in a sci-fi playlist that we were doing.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bridges is coming back. He was in the original Tron, and he was in Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
And the main character is being played by Jared Leto, which I'm not really a fan of.
Yeah.
I mean,
sick
I
of
think
Jared Leto. He's a bit full of
okay,
himself, isn't he?
And he's a good actor, but I never rated him as the Joker in Suicide Squad either.
No.
But we'll see where it goes. Apparently the narrative of this film is like the game world is coming into the real world, so it's the other way around.
So Jumanji.
Yeah, basically, but more dark and of a dramatic. And Daft Punk did a massively famous, amazing soundtrack to Tron Legacy.
Okay.
But
do you think they'll be coming back for this one?
Nah, it's been announced that 9 Inch Nails are doing it. They could do a good soundtrack, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, without seeing anything, I don't know what to...
No.
I can tell you now, the film won't do well and it won't be received well, but it probably will be
Depending on what the trailer, what atmosphere the trailer brings.
Yeah.
Which, by the way... Sorry, were you going to say something about Tron?
I was just going to say who the director is. He's someone that Disney keep going to. He's called Joachim Roning, I think. That's Joaquin Roning, I think. Roning. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm butchering it. But he directed that 5th Pirates of the Caribbean film.
Which I didn't mind, you know. What, the Salazar's Revenge?
Yeah, in America it was called Dead Men Tell No Tales, which I thought was a way cooler one. He also directed Maleficent 2. Which I thought got good reviews. Yeah, and there's a foreign language film called Kon-Tiki that I really want to see that got him like as a big film kind of director. But yeah, I mean, if they're bringing like the game world into the new world, you know, that'll attract young audiences. And if the trailer looks epic, then that'll bring on new audience as well. But talking about trailers, I just want to touch upon Rings of Power. You haven't seen it. Yeah. No spoilers, Sean, for Rings of Power season 1 because I will not. I'll tell you what I know. Go on then. I've heard. Well, I know that this first Rings of Power season wasn't received well. Like people didn't rate it in terms of critically. Critics didn't rate it well. But from everyone I've spoken to, they say it's actually okay and they quite like it. Yeah. But you're going to tell me something about the trailer. So I do need to I started watching Rings of Power. Obviously, we're massive Lord of the Rings fans. Yeah. And I'm still so surprised that you haven't seen the show. I think because you wanted to wait and watch it with your dad, and now you watch it with Chloe. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I tell you what, I really like the Hobbit films as well. Apart from the third one, I've got a bit of an issue with it. Yeah. Part of me was put off because I just love Peter Jackson's world that he created. Yeah. So I thought I just felt like somebody else doing Tolkien's it. World. Amazon, Jeff Bezos. I felt like but Tolkien's world. People are gonna go. It's not Peter mad. Jackson. It is Tolkien, but I think Peter Jackson visualized it so perfectly, so well, that part of me thought, oh, it's Amazon, it's this big studio, they're just going to come in, they're not going to be they don't care as much as perhaps Peter Jackson does. Aesthetically, they're going to go all CGI, they're not going to go for like and he did in The Hobbit, didn't he, really, to an extent, but they're not going to create the craft and care. But I will watch it. Because you need to hurry up and watch it because season 2 comes out this end of this month. Yeah. And I want to show you the trailer to season 2 before you watch it because
man.
Are they dumping everything, or is it going to be a weekly release?
It's a weekly release.
I feel like that might.
Yeah, it's a weekly release.
Keep the audience
just like the first season. Now, the first season for me, I watched it when it first came out, and it was like almost like waiting for it to start each and every episode. And then I stopped and didn't watch the last 2 episodes for a while, like over a year. And I watched the last 2 episodes very recently, like last week, maybe even this week. And I really enjoyed the last 2 episodes, like really enjoyed it. I was actually quite surprised. So overall, I thought the first season was okay. But I've heard that obviously they started filming this when we were coming out of COVID. So restrictions on how many people on set and all of these things made it feel a little bit empty in a way. Not completely. There were moments in it, but singular sets with a few people and heavy dialogue. It wasn't as grandeur as Lord of the Rings was. And I think people are saying it's because of COVID, and that's fair enough. This trailer, Tom, for season 2 is like, is fucking Lord of the Rings.
You're not the only person, because someone I watched online, Film Pundit, also said that it was like one of the best trailers they've ever seen.
It is insane. Like, I watched it and I almost had a tear in my eye because and my heart in my throat, because I was just like, I'm rewatching Lord of the Rings here. Like, this is insane.
God. You've got me so hyped, man. You've got me so hyped.
I can't wait for it. Oh my God, there's so many moments in the trailer. I need to show you it, but you can't because there's a spoiler in there.
I've heard that there's all sorts in this, though. I've heard Tom Bombadil's in it now, a character from the books that wasn't in the Peter Jackson films.
Right.
I've heard that they might be bringing the wizards into it. There's actually 5 wizards originally. And like all sorts of villains, and I think the ring wraiths maybe, or the different rings are going to play a part.
You might enjoy it more binge watching it as well, rather than watching it weekly. The first season at least.
But now that House of the Dragon's over, I need something to replace my fantasy fix.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on to our last segment, which is not really my film is better than your film, but it's Would You Rather. But before we get onto that, did you ever see the Racka film Talk to Me?
No, but I know there's a sequel coming out. Was this the one with the kind of Ouija board kind of hand thing?
Yeah, the hand thing.
I know you went to
Australian thing. I thought it was really good. So if you don't know who Racka are, they were a YouTube channel that created short films and just like they did Game of Thrones versus Lord of the Rings,
weren't they?
Yeah, they did
Star
Halo.
Wars versus Lord of the Rings as well. I think.
They did
Harry Potter.
And they were amazing, but I think YouTube really cracked down on showing their videos to the wider audience. So it basically blacklisted their channel. Huh?
Why?
Because it was gory, it was foul language. It really limited the reach of their videos. Yeah. So they were like, "Fuck it, we'll make a movie. Which is what we want to do. It's what we love." And they came out with Talk to Me, which I thought was
They're
brilliant.
twin brothers, aren't they?
They're twin brothers, yeah. And Talk to Me was unique, and it hit. When you think of like Longlegs and Cuckoo, they're unique and they're independent, I guess. But they didn't really stick the landing that much. Talk to Me.
It's got a 7.1. Talk to Me
stuck the landing, I thought, and they've actually just announced that they've just wrapped their new movie, and it's not the sequel to Talk to Me. It's called Bring Her Back. Now, there's no synopsis on the film at the moment, but I just wanted to put it out there in the ether for when it does, a trailer does come back, does surface. I really want to follow these guys' career because obviously they started on YouTube and it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely watch Talk to Me then, but there's no synopsis.
There's no synopsis.
Bring Her Back.
Bring Her Back, which is a really cool title. I like that.
Yeah, you can think of all sorts of kind of possible synopsis, couldn't you? Someone trying to bring someone back from the dead, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea. A bit of Pet Sematary type of vibes, maybe. But shall we go on to our last segment?
Let's do it. We're doing a new segment. This one is different to My Film's Better Than Yours. It's called Would You Rather?
We propose 2 films, similar in theme and genre maybe, to the other person. and they have to pick which film and why they would want to watch for the rest of their lives over the other film. As if you were on a stranded island, let's say, and you had to pick two films.
Okay.
One film out of two. So
it's hard going. I wouldn't want to watch any film forever. Yeah. There's probably one I could watch over and over again. But.
So I'll go first, and this is probably an easy one for you. I tried to make it a little bit interesting, but okay. Yeah, we'll see.
Hit me.
Either Star Wars: A New Hope,
okay,
or Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Oh! Without a shadow of a doubt, I could easily do this one.
I think I know what you might pick.
Go on. Do you want to say?
I think you might pick.
So I have to watch film forever, either A New Hope or Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you might pick A New Hope.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I would pick A New Hope. Oh, it's an amazing masterpiece of a film.
Yeah.
I've always been big. Everyone knows, I've always been big on Star Wars, especially the originals as well. But I like all the Star Wars films bar one.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that one.
Is that the last one?
Maybe. Yeah, it is. But A New Hope, there's something about it. I just love it, man. It's the original film, isn't it? And it's an insular... It can be watched as an insular story anyway, about one kind of typical... It's like that common archetype again, isn't it? Of one person who thinks they're a nobody, getting chosen, or getting this history divulged to them, where they then have to go on and save the world, or in this case, save the galaxy. And that one of my favourite shots and scenes in the entirety of film canon history ever is where he's standing on the kind of
the mound
by his kind of desert farm on Tatooine and looking at the twin suns, and you get the binary sunset theme tune play.
Yeah.
It's emotionally intense. I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Okay.
So many scenes in that film. The Death Star chase, trench chase at the end.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader and Obi-Wan when they meet,
infiltrating the Death Star to get the princess.
When they're in the kind of trash compactor.
Yeah.
It actually is an absolute kind of train ride from beginning to end of just it just goes. The momentum just goes.
Yeah.
And it feels really short or quick as a film as well.
Yeah.
There's no like fat on it to trim at all.
Yeah.
You've got the great set design, the Mos Eisley Cantina when they first go there, Chewbacca, the Millennium Falcon,
Obi-Wan's sacrifice.
Yeah. And it feels like not much else happens, but it's a really short, great. It's a short. But how long actually is A New Hope? Is it 1 hour 40? I'm guessing.
Maybe, I don't know. Check it.
Directed by George Lucas as well. The only
Star Wars film. No, he did the prequels.
The only original.
Original, yeah.
The legend says he might have helped direct Return of the Jedi, but obviously just called Star Wars as well when it first came out for people that jump on that. It's 2 hours and 1 minute long.
But it feels shorter.
It does not feel that long.
Yeah. No, that's a good sign.
No.
That's a good sign.
And I used to put I had the VHSs as a kid, but they were my prized possession. I used to put them in, rewind them back to the beginning. It used to be I wanted to put a film on and put one of those on. Yeah. Just if I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right, what films do you got for me?
Okay. I haven't gone for your favourite ever films.
It's fine.
You've got a choice of Shaun of the Dead or Super 8. So quite different.
Yeah.
But I probably know which one you're going to go for this as well.
Well, for me...
Super 8 is J.J. Abrams, by the way.
It is.
I haven't seen it, but I know
I actually watched it recently this year.
I know that Sean likes it as a film.
I like it as a film. Shaun of the Dead, I've watched about 1 million times already. Like, no joke. Like, when I was younger, when it first came out, I just watched it on repeat on DVD, and there was always a bit in the movie where they're about to go down into the cellar at the very end of the movie where it paused for a second. I just remember that. I don't know why. but it always paused on the exact same moment. I watched it so many. I think in one night I watched it 3 times.
No way.
Yeah.
What, as a kid?
Yeah, in one night. I watched it 2 in one night, and then the following morning I watched it again. So I just absolutely love that film. But if that's the case, would I watch it over Super 8, which I haven't watched as many times? I like Super 8, but Shaun of the Dead is a fucking classic. So I'm going to go with Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And do you know what? This film, Shaun of the Dead, came out in 2004 when we were in... Year 4. So really young.
So we were 7?
So did you watch it when you were that age?
Probably not. No. I probably watched it when I was 10, year 6.
I think you watched it in year 6 when you were 10, because I remember you coming in and so we were 10 years old, and I remember you telling me about it, and I was like begging my dad to let me get it from Blockbuster to watch it. Yeah. And he did.
Oh, really?
And I watched it.
Did you watch it with him?
Yeah, when we were that age. But it actually scared the shit out of me.
Did it?
As well, like I was too young to get the kind of humor behind it. So it actually scared the hell out of me.
As
like
well. I thought it was more of a horror.
When his dad becomes a zombie
in the car,
and when his stepmom's got or his mum, is it stepmom or a mum?
It's his mum. Yeah,
it's his mum. When she turns out she has,
and he has to shoot her in the head. And when the guy gets pulled through the window and his guts get torn up.
Edgar Wright, man, is a class director. And actually, I was going to watch the other day that film he did. I've seen all his films apart from Last Night in Soho.
Yeah,
with Matt Smith.
I haven't watched that either. Yeah,
but I wanted to put that in there as well because apparently I saw this rumor news story that Simon Pegg's meeting with Edgar Wright to talk about like a 4th Cornetto film.
That would be interesting.
Did you know Simon Pegg actually wrote a sequel himself
to Shaun of the Dead?
To Shaun of the Dead, called what was it? Night of the Living. No,
it was homaging one of the like Dawn of the Dead's and Night of the Living Dead. It was like Shaun of the Dead, Dawn of the New Rise or something. I don't know.
Shaun of the Dead. Oh, it was about vampires anyway. I think it's a vampire film. Shaun of the Dead sequel title. Oh, damn it, what was it called? We're going to find this. We're going to find this because...
Shaun of the Dead, Simon Pegg sequel.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn spin-off. From Dusk Till Dawn with vampires. Apparently, it wasn't going to be an actual sequel, but it was going to be similar characters.
Yeah. So they could bring in a different scenario. In a different scenario. Yeah, that would have been funny.
I wish I was in the alternate universe where they have that film.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to watch it.
That'd be hilarious.
Would you be intrigued by seeing another collaboration with them?
100%. Their writing is on point, and at World's End, which is arguably the worst one of the trilogy. I thought that was the best written movie on paper, dialogue. Yeah, it was so smartly delivered and written.
That had Paddy Considine in as well, didn't it?
And it had so much emotion with Simon Pegg at the end. Yeah, because he was obviously mental health.
Everyone thought he always played the straight character, and Nick Frost always played the
and it was reversed.
Crazy one. It was reversed for that one, but I'd be intrigued to see that. Oh, would you rather?
I mean, we are pretty much there and thereabouts. I do have one more.
Go on,
and do it. I'll do it for you, but do it. Answer it pretty quickly, I guess.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
Oh, another actual one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings: Two Towers.
Yeah.
Which is you. I think you thought Two Towers was your favourite, but after rewatching it at the cinema,
it's actually my weaker one.
This is the weakest one because it went Fellowship of the Ring, Return of the King, and then Two Towers. So that, or the first Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. I know you love that movie. I know you love that movie. It's also Lord of the Rings.
I'm really sorry,
you have to you have to burn a copy, so it'll never. It will never exist ever again.
Oh my god!
Ever again.
Oh my god!
You will never be able to watch it.
Sean knows me, man. I absolutely love The Curse of the Black Pearl. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
I love that film. If that was a standalone film, and the other films didn't kind of colour my perception of that franchise, it is still one of my favourite films ever.
Yeah.
It's so good.
By the way,
But
give me an answer real quick, because in 3 minutes we have to leave to watch Aline Romulus.
Oh God. Okay. It has to be. I have to keep Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. I have to.
Okay,
I have to keep it. It's just too.
You'll never watch Pirates of the Caribbean ever again. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry, it's a bit of a rushed ending, but
Aline Romulus calls, guys.
Yeah, we need to go.
We'll obviously update you and tell you our full in-depth thoughts on Aline Romulus and what we thought of it.
We might do a standalone podcast episode just on it.
Yeah,
I guess because maybe there'll be a lot to talk about.
And also, get your questions in, because we haven't got around to it again, but we will 100% do some fan mail questions next episode of the podcast.
All right, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you download the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you later.
Cheers.